are now listening to The Sports Report with your host, Josh Dow.
What's up, guys? Josh back with another episode of the Sports Report. I hope everyone's having a great weekend. I hope everyone's getting ready for the NBA All-Star Weekend. Huge event. Obviously, you have the Rising Stars. You have the dunk contest, the three-point contest, the All-Star game. So it's a little change of pace with everything going on. Obviously, as I mentioned before, the winners get $100,000. The losers get $25,000, so maybe there's a little bit more incentive for them to actually play a competitive game instead of just a highlight reel game, dunk contest type deal. But not going to get into that today. We already talked about that a little bit. So what I want to talk about, and we're going to start the headline section with this.
This is the Sports Report News and Headlines.
The new NBA odds have come out. The new NBA who's going to win the championship odds have come out. And I have to say I'm a little surprised. First, I'm not surprised at who's number one, the Warriors. They're 1-2 favorites, which they're overwhelming favorites. And I'm not even surprised who's second, who the Houston Rockets 4-1. Here's where I get a little surprised. The Cavs are 7-1 favorites to win the finals. The Cleveland Cavaliers, who just unloaded their roster, 7-1 favorites. So they're not first in the East. They're not second in the East. They're only a game and a half up on the Wizards to be in third. So they're in third place, but yet they're the favorite in the East. And I understand it's the whole LeBron thing, and I understand that. But they just completely revamped their roster. Now, don't get me wrong. I did watch them play against the Celtics. And yes, they beat the brakes off the Celtics. I mean, it was embarrassing as a Celtics fan. But is that enough to convince me that they're 7-1 favorites to win the title good? I mean, we have such a small sample size with this new team. Do I think that they can keep it up? I really don't know. I have thought about this since I saw this come out. Do I think that the Cavs are going to be able to, A, for the whole rest of the regular season, keep it up, and then be better than the Celtics, be better than Toronto, even be better than Milwaukee or Washington in a 7-game series, and then go on to beat the Warriors, the Rockets, whoever is going to represent the West. I'm not sold on that. Now, to continue with this, the Raptors are 25-1 favorites. They're first in the East and they're 25-1. The Celtics and the Thunder are 30-1. So that just goes to show you how quickly, I mean, literally one game that they played against Boston where, I mean, I'm not going to lie, they dominated Boston. They did. But is that enough for me to say, yep, 7-1 favorites are going to represent the East? They're the best team. I don't care if they've only played together for a week. Not even a full week. Everyone jumped back on the Cavs bandwagon with such a small sample size. That's what doesn't make sense to me. Because are they going to jump off? Like they have, is it before the All-Star break? They play the Thunder. It might be while I'm recording this on Tuesday. They play the Thunder, I believe. If they go up against Oklahoma City and get dominated, are we going to jump back off? Like, this team's not what LeBron needs. I can't definitively say right now this Cavs team would beat the Celtics in 7 games. Beat Toronto in 7 games. Honestly, I don't think they beat Washington in 7 games. Milwaukee is a good series. The rest of the East, who's in the playoffs right now? Philadelphia would be in. I think they would beat Philadelphia. Miami's in, I think, right now. I think they would beat Miami. So I mean, Indiana, I think they would beat Indiana as well. So I mean, the top 5 seeds, 4 of the top 5, obviously they're one of them. I don't think they're better than in a 7-game series. But yet Vegas wants to give them 7-1 odds. Also, what I want to talk about with the Cavs are, now they have this Brooklyn pick that is starting to look really good. I think Brooklyn's only, a couple games, 2-3 games, better than the worst team, which is Sacramento right now, I think. So they have a really good chance of getting a top 3 pick, if not the number 1 pick with that Brooklyn pick, which a couple weeks ago wasn't looking so good that they were going to be a top 10 pick maybe. Now they're looking top 3. So are the Cavs... Now this is obviously going to be off season. This isn't going to happen. The trade deadline's gone. But are the Cavs willing to move that Brooklyn pick, which is looking really good right now, trying to pick up another 24, 25-year-old playmaker, move some more pieces around, build another big 3 or so in Cleveland to try and keep LeBron? Because right now, that with the roster they have, unless they win a championship, which I would put money on they're not going to, LeBron's leaving. I'm still convinced LeBron's gone. New take, Dwayne Wade's saying he wants Miami back in South Beach with him. Which I can 100%, and Max Kellerman from First Take, I agreed with every single thing he said about why LeBron could go back to South Beach and play in Miami. I don't think that's his first choice, but I could see it happening. But the Cavs, if the Cavs let LeBron walk away without making a move to try and keep him, Cleveland is going to be up in arms. There is zero chance, unless LeBron says, I want Marvin Bagley number 1, or whoever he really likes in the draft. If he can 100% say, I want that kid and I'll stay, that pick should be moved. That pick should be traded away, trying to get other players in to help LeBron. Because LeBron wants help. They cleaned house. LeBron is 100% willing to do that again. And I keep saying LeBron because I don't think people realize how much power NBA players have. If LeBron wants somebody gone, or if it comes to the point of, hey, the best player modern day, maybe even ever, I won't put him in that category. Michael Jordan has that sold in my heart, number 1 best player. Some people will say LeBron. If you're not going to do everything you can to keep him, and you don't want to jeopardize losing him, you're going to listen to what he has to say. As much as a lot of people don't want to hear that, NBA players have so much power over front offices and coaching staffs and everything. LeBron has the most power in the league. So we could see that Brooklyn pick gone. Cleveland's not drafting with that pick. Unless, 1, they know LeBron's not coming back. They want to build with that Brooklyn pick. 2, LeBron says, I need that kid from whatever university on my team and I'll stay. Those are the only 2 ways they pick with that pick. Or else it's gone. They're trading for somebody else to try and keep LeBron. I think LeBron's going to the Lakers. The reason I think that is he wants to go to LA. It's come out multiple times he doesn't want to go to the Clippers. So the Lakers are the only other option. Now the Lakers have their own problem right now. They got LeVar Ball, who the newest thing with him, of course he has all these antics. The newest thing with him, Lonzo is not going to re-sign with the Lakers unless his 2 brothers are signed with the Lakers. That's the word on the street. Lonzo will not be a Laker if his brothers are not signed to the team. Let me run this by LeVar. Let me get him on the phone. Let me talk to him in person and really think about this for a second. I understand. This is what I would run by him. I understand your son. A is your kid. B, you think he's the future of the Lakers. And very well could be the future of the Lakers. But you don't think that the Lakers, who have a real shot of trying to sign LeBron James, isn't going to take that opportunity because you need the 3 brothers to play on the same team? They're going to take up cap space getting Lonzo, LaMelo, LiAngelo on the same team, they don't care, and by they I mean the Lakers, don't care about the other two Ball brothers. And if Lonzo leaves and the result of that happening is they get LeBron, I think they're going to be just fine. I think they're going to be 100% okay with that. And I don't think Lakers fans are going to be upset about that. So, LeVar, you're making the Lakers choose between Lonzo, a rookie, undoubtedly has good talent, your two younger kids who are playing overseas. One of them, personally, I don't think would have even played much time at UCLA, never mind made it into the league. LaMelo has some talent, but he's super young. I mean, he's only like 16 years old. You're going to make the Lakers front office choose between those three and LeBron James. It can't be any easier for them to choose LeBron if he says, I want to sign. And again, this is LeBron having too much power. The only reason all three Ball brothers are going to be signed is if LeBron, A, is not going to the Lakers, and B, LeBron says, hey, sign them. We're going to have media frenzy in LA with me, those three clowns, and the biggest clown of them all, their father. All on the same team. The only way it could be a bigger circus if that all happens is if LeVar Ball takes the coaching spot. Only way. And if all three Balls are signed to the Lakers, 100% is a pure publicity stunt. Because Lonzo's good. Lonzo's probably the best of the three. And he's really, there's only two of them that have NBA talent. And are 19, one's 18 or 19, the other one's 16 or so. So don't placate to them. If he wants to leave, let him leave. Go get LeBron. Focus your energy on LeBron, because the league is far better when the Celtics are good, when the Lakers are good. Chicago, you can make a case for when they're good. They're not very good right now. But if you have the Lakers franchise good again, relevant again, Boston's relevant, and then you have the upcoming of Philadelphia, of course Golden State, Houston is really good, you're going to have a good league again. Don't placate to the Ball family. They get them out of the league. If they all want to go overseas, let them all go overseas. But there's no reason to sign all three Ball brothers when it's not going to do anything for your franchise. It's not going to help, that's for sure. Went on a little bit of a rant there because I'm just fed up, man. I talked about it last week with Scott Boras. Now it's all about LeVar Ball, and if the Lakers make the mistake, it's just to me it's insane that any franchise would even consider jeopardizing their signing LeBron. So, man, that's just, it's mind-blowing that even LeVar thinks that that's going to happen. MLB stuff now. We got another signing, Yu Darvish. I knew right away when he was going to be a free agent, that he wants to go to a contender. He's not going to go play for a bottom of the barrel team. He wants to pitch in big games. Signed a 6-year, $126 million contract with the Cubs. I think that's a great landing spot for him. Not super surprised that it was the Cubs. I think they were top 3 in the, race to get him pretty much all off season. So I'm not super surprised there. What I am surprised is the Nationals are really making a push to get Arrieta. And not so much because Arrieta is not a good pitcher. What I think is, yes, they have good arms, but I think the major concern for me, not concern, that's a bad way of putting it. The thing that kind of caught my attention was they really want to sign him, but the GM is so concerned with this luxury tax and taking them over to the luxury tax. Listen, if you're just, the Nationals have not been good in the playoffs multiple years now. Great regular seasons, awful in the postseason. If you go over the luxury tax by signing him, but the result is you make it past the NLDS or you make it past the championship series, get to the World Series, win a World Series. Not saying that it's definitely going to happen. What I'm saying is, why not take the chance? If you really believe, and I personally don't, I think Arrieta is a great pitcher. I think they have great arms. I don't know what the reason is that they're not getting. They just fold in the most unbelievable ways when it gets to the postseason. But it can't hurt. Arrieta is a great pitcher. He's a veteran guy. He's pitched in the postseason. He's pitched in the playoffs. He's won a World Series. Bite the bullet. Just bite the bullet. Simply think about it as a risk-reward play. The risk is you pay a little extra in luxury tax, which, yes, for some teams that's crazy. I don't think the Nationals are one of those teams. I think they would be willing to do so. You stack that rotation. Stack that rotation. So the risk is you pay a little extra in luxury tax. The reward is, I would say, almost guaranteed a playoff spot. You have a starting rotation that in any situation, you have a big game pitcher on the mound. You're really, I would say, 3-4 teams in contention in the NL that are, top of the line contenders for the World Series from opening day. Obviously, injuries and everything can happen. But take that risk. Take that risk. Because when you guys are hosting that trophy, getting World Series rings, it's far more lucrative than paying some luxury tax. So I would be very surprised if, and that was the thing that the GM said, we really want Arrieta, but our main concern is staying under that luxury tax. Why? Spend the money. You're almost there. If they were a 65-win team last year, no, don't spend the money. But if you were a 65-win team last year and that close to the luxury tax, you got bigger problems. They were a really good team last year. Maybe Arrieta's that guy that gets him over the hump. Next week, baseball is back, though. It's back. We got spring training games, which I can't wait to watch. Even spring training games is enough for me to get excited about seeing that baseball is going to be back. But that also means we're getting close to the regular season. That also means we're getting close to the NFL draft. And I was watching, I had to have been watching ESPN. Thing came up that said, Pro Football Focus says Baker Mayfield is, quote, head and shoulders, unquote, better than all the other quarterbacks in the draft, or the best quarterback in the draft. That's a really bold statement to make, that he's head and shoulders above. Now, don't get me wrong, I think he's a good quarterback. I think he has great projectability into the NFL. But I don't even think he's number one. Never mind head and shoulders over the rest. Personally, I think he's the fourth quarterback taken. Maybe fifth, but I think that's stretching it. I think the top four are, I think it goes like 1 and 2, 3, a little bit of room, 4, a lot of room, 5, 6, 7, and so forth. I think he's in that top four, where the gap's pretty close, but he's definitely not one, in my opinion. I think our top four quarterbacks that we're going to see are Josh Allen or Josh Rosen, one of those two, Sam Darnold, and then Baker Mayfield. The reason I said Baker Mayfield could go fifth is some team might take a stab at not Lamar Jackson. If he goes, it's not going to be to play quarterback. I'm talking guys that are going to play quarterback. Mason Rudolph. A lot of people are saying he doesn't have the big arm, and he played in the traditional college spread hurry up offense. He's a big guy. I think he can learn the mechanics. I think he could figure it out where a team would take a chance on him. But I still think Mayfield's fourth. My first pick is Josh Allen. If I'm taking a quarterback, I'm taking Josh Allen. And the only reason is he has a big arm. I mean, I think he's got the best arm in the draft. Good size. He's your prototypical quarterback size. If, and this is going to be hard, this is a big if too, because it's the Browns that would get him, because they're probably going to take him number one. If the Browns can work on his mechanics, his accuracy, there's something just a little off. He needs a little bit of tweaking. If he can figure that out, he could be a good quarterback. Now, this is a deep quarterback class. I don't know if it's going to be super talented. I don't know if these guys are going to be a class where in 5 years, we have 6 quarterbacks out of this class starting. I don't know if it's going to be like that. But Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, Sam Darnold, people have been talking about them for the full season. Baker Mayfield a little bit too, and then once he started winning the Heisman and doing his thing, it got a little bit more serious. But I think Josh Allen's the best quarterback in this draft. I don't even think he's head and shoulders above number 2. So I don't know where they're coming up with this. I didn't read the article. I didn't see what it was. I don't know if they were taking and basing his college stats, because maybe that makes sense. But he's not number 1, nor is he head and shoulders above the top quarterbacks in this draft. I don't think so. we'll find out a little bit more when the combine comes around at the end of the month. We'll see who puts on the show. We'll see his arm strength. We'll see his accuracy. I don't think that's going to be in question. He's a little bit smaller of a guy. I just think people are really going to like the projectability of the Darnolds, the Rosens, the Allens over Mayfield. But he comes into the combine, puts on a show. I really don't know what we're going to see. I really don't know. So that's it for headlines. Got into a few rants there, which happens. It happens every day anyway with me. So not just a show thing. Let's get into against the spread. Here's what we're doing. If you missed last week, go back, check it out. We're doing fantasy baseball stuff. Like I said, a lot of you fans out there, you do fantasy sports, whether it's daily fantasy or year-long fantasy. I want to get you guys some of the top positions, some of the top players at each position. And really what that's going to do is if you put money in on daily fantasy, or if you have a money league for your yearly fantasy, that's going to help you hopefully take home the crown, take home some money. Last week we did catchers. We talked about those a little bit. I'm not going to talk about them. If you want to check that out, definitely go check that out. Today we're going to talk about first base. First base traditionally is your power guys. So I got 5 for you. Crazy that they're all from the National League. I got all my top 5 are National League guys. So the other thing I will say, all 5 of these guys, if you have a DH spot or an extra hitter or anything like that in your lineup, you're not going to get 2 of these guys. I would highly doubt that. But if you needed to use one for a DH, you certainly could. So number 1 is number 1 on a lot of people's lists for first base. And that's Paul Goldschmidt. And it's hard to argue anyone to be number 1 over him. I had a little bit tougher of a time picking him number 1. But when I looked at the stats, there was really nobody else I could put there. He batted .297 last year, 36 bombs, 120 ribbies, and here's the crazy thing. He's the only guy, at least that I can think of, when I thought of first base, that's going to put you at around a 300 average. He's consistently a 30-plus home run guy, 100 RBI guy, but he can move around the bases a little bit. He swiped 20 bags on average the last 2 years. So last year he had 18, he had 32 in 2016, so that's 25 bags on average. You know, he's gonna get you 20 steals, 20 or so steals on top of his production at the plate. I mean, I don't see why he's not going to be in the MVP race again. Not only that, the Diamondbacks were a good team last year. If they're good again, he's going to feed off of that. He's going to have the production because the team's playing well. He's easily the number 1 guy I would take at first base. The only other guy that I could consider taking number 1 is number 2. And it's Joey Votto. Joey Votto, average-wise, is the best hitting first baseman. Batted .320, .454 on-base percentage as a first baseman, 36 home runs, 100 RBIs. I mean, like I said, the numbers are there. Average is up, home runs, RBIs are there. So, I mean, if you are a Votto fan and you want to take him number 1, I got nothing against it. The only reason I don't, he's 34. Eventually, production starts to fall. 33, 34, 35. He's going to start seeing it. He's not in the AL where you can just throw him at DH. Not that first base is super taxing, but it's more taxing than DHing. So eventually there's going to be a drop. Do I think he's going to automatically drop to a 240 hitter? Not at all. I think he's still a 300 guy. Home runs, RBIs on a team, it's not very good. Could lack. RBIs, in that sense, could lack. Home runs, if he's hitting the ball out of the park, it don't matter if his team sucks or not. He's going to hit the ball out of the park. But people could pitch around him a little bit more. So, him and Goldschmidt had really similar numbers. But Votto's older, on a worse team. Goldschmidt is going to have more opportunities to drive in runs. Votto might hit a little better average-wise. The rest of the numbers might be Paulie Goldschmidt there. And with Votto being 34, if he starts dropping in production a little bit, it wouldn't surprise me. I still think he's probably a 310 guy hitting-wise. But if I saw him at 28, 29 home runs this year, it wouldn't be a drastic surprise to me. And it's still a really good year. Don't get me wrong. It's still a really good year. But it's not your 36 home run guy or 34, 35 that Goldschmidt might hit this year. So he's number 2. Number 3 is Freddie Freeman. I really, not only just fantasy-wise, but just as a player, I really like Freddie Freeman. 307 hitter, 28 home runs, 71 RBIs. A lot of people are going to look at his stats from last year and say, okay, 307, 28 home runs isn't bad, but wow, 71 RBIs is horrendous. Not horrendous, but you want more production. I think he's going to bat 4 this year, probably. You have to think he missed 6 weeks last year after he broke his wrist. He got hit by a pitch and broke his wrist. 6 weeks is a lot of time in baseball. So that RBI total could have easily been 90, 95 if he was, on fire upwards of 100. So I think we're going to see about the same average, 300, 305. Home runs I would imagine, just because he missed those 6 weeks, he could probably pop out 2 more. So a 30 home run guy. RBIs is where we're going to see the huge jump with him. If he's under 90 and healthy, meaning playing 140 plus games, I'd be very surprised. I think we're going to see him upwards of that. And if he has a really good season and the team has a good season, he could be in the hundreds. He could be 102, 103. Personally, I don't see that, but we've seen crazier things happen. But I still think he's a 90 RBI guy. Number 4 is Anthony Rizzo, Mr. Consistency, honestly. Consistently around 32 home runs. Consistently 100, 105 RBIs. I think he had the last 2 years 109, actually, both years. Little concerning with the average dipping down a little bit to 273, but everyone has a year like that. Everyone has a year where they dip a little bit. Obviously, I didn't watch every single at bat, so I don't know if he was just hitting it on the screws and hitting atom balls or what the deal was. But he was a 273 guy last year. He's not going to be your 300 hitter, I don't think. I would put him in the range of the 285 to 290 is a really good year for him. But he is your 30 home run guy. He is your 100 RBI guy, especially in that lineup. He's your 100 RBI guy. He's been in the league with the Cubs for, 6 seasons now? You've seen what he's been able to do the last 2 years with a supporting cast. He shines. And I think he's going to shine again. I don't think there's any reason to think that he's not going to have a really good year. I don't think there's a reason to think the Cubs aren't going to have a really good year. So I think we're going to see him in that 285, 290 range. 30-ish home runs, 100, 110 RBIs. He's a really good pickup, especially in fantasy. And if you're daily fantasy, you definitely want to grab him. My number 5 guy, and I take great pride in this call, because if you guys listened to the Boxy Boys last year, which is amazing to me that I've been doing a podcast for a year now. If you listen to the Boxy Boys, which was my podcast with former teammate, we talked about up-and-coming guys. I basically wanted to get through the top, I think we did the top 10 prospects or top 5 prospects. And my top prospect was Cody Bellinger. And this was before he was in the pros. This was before he was making headlines. He was still in AAA. And I said, listen, this guy's 21 years old. You need to watch this guy. He can swing the bat. He plays pretty good in the field. But he's got some power. He doesn't look like it, but he's got some power. And that was after watching some videos of him taking batting practice and just his coil. And I'm obviously playing baseball, you know a lot about a swing and everything like that. And I could just tell the raw talent this kid had. So before I keep going on and on, I basically said, watch Cody Bellinger. And what did he do? He went on to win NL Rookie of the Year. Unanimously. NL Rookie of the Year. He's one of those guys that I really think is going to be... He's going to have a good season again. My issue with Cody Bellinger is he's 22. He was in the league most of 2017. So it's really hard to speculate. He hasn't even had a real full season. But I was super high on him last year. He did well. I think he's going to be really good this year. And I'm going to put him in my top 5. I was looking at some of his stats. He had a really good season. He was young. What really encouraged me was when you see a guy hit, a high number of home runs at a young age, the strikeouts are there. Then he's having success swinging for the fence. Starts swinging for the fence more, often, harder. Strikeouts go up. With Bellinger, his strikeout rate in the second half of 2017 actually improved, which is super encouraging because he made the adjustment. Playoffs were a different animal for him, and that's where my concern comes in. My concern is now teams have a scouting report. Now teams know where to pitch him. And they got a very good taste of where to pitch him in the postseason, where he was getting tied up. He didn't look great against great pitching. So now there's a pretty good sample size of pitchers successfully getting him out. They know where to pitch him, what pitches confuse him. It's not going to be the end of the world. He's just going to have to make another adjustment, which I'm sure, obviously, he's going to work on in spring training and has been working on. But especially if you're in like a keeper league, if you get Cody Bellinger, he's a guy you're going to want to keep for a long time. But I think he's still going to put up good numbers. Tough to really match what he did last year, especially, like I said, now that they have a scouting report, he's going to be pitched a little bit differently, I think. But I still think he's going to have a successful year. So that's my top 5. I have Paul Goldschmidt, number 1. Joey Votto, number 2. Freddie Freeman, 3rd. Anthony Rizzo, number 4. Cody Bellinger, number 5. Let's take a look at what to watch this week. So honestly, it's all basketball. We're in that time of the year where basketball kind of takes over, and we got some really good ranked matchups coming up in the next week or so. So, real quick run through. Number 17, Arizona at number 25, Arizona State. That is Thursday. Number 3, Villanova at number 4, Xavier. That's a really fun game. I think that's going to be a great game. That's on Saturday. Number 20, WVU at number 13, Kansas. On Saturday as well, we're going to see how I want to see this Kansas team when they're really facing adversity, which they have been the last few games. Number 12, Duke at number 11, Clemson. That's on Sunday. Number 8, Ohio State at number 22, Michigan. At number 19, Wichita State. At number 5, Cincinnati. Cincinnati's a little bit of a sleeper. They're not a sleeper now. They're number 5, but they might be my pick to make a deep run. So that's going to be a game I'm definitely going to watch. And, of course, it's NBA All-Star Weekend. So get your popcorn ready. We're going to see some dunks. We're going to see some three-point shooting. Guys, if you are on FanDuel, by the way, I don't know if you guys are all aware of this, but they started doing it. I think they did it for the Super Bowl as well. But if you're on FanDuel, what you can do, and I'll talk you guys through it. I can't show you, obviously, because you're listening, but I'll talk you guys through it. So what you do is, if you go onto FanDuel, there'll be on your phone a little scroll bar at the top where you can scroll through the different contests. One will say free NBA All-Star Bingo. What you do is every time something happens, like mine has dunk from a bounce, dunk from behind the basket. You have all these different things. If you get bingo, you win a prize. So you kind of have to monitor it because it'll fill your squares for you, but you actually have to be the one to click the call bingo button. And let me go through and take a look for you. The top prize is $1,000, a free $1,000. And if you call bingo, no matter what, even if you're not one of the top people to call bingo, you still get a free contest. So opportunities to win money, opportunities to get free contests to win more money. So if you guys are on FanDuel, check that out. That's going to be a lot of fun. I did it for the Super Bowl and didn't win any money, but won a free contest, which I entered the next day and won a little bit of money. So, guys, it's always a pleasure. Enjoy the rest of your week. Until next time, guys, take care.